Hello, everyone. Today we'll talk about self management in this very short presentation of 22 minutes, roughly. So, self management, what do we understand by it? First, we need to apprehend self concept, the concept of being self. The term self refers to someone who thinks about and possibly perceives himself or herself, is the sense of an identity that a individual being has, a set of characteristics, abilities, ideas, or behavior that probably he or she possess, or should I say, do not possess, or does not possess, as the case might be. It is a multi-dimensional incorporating our views of ourselves in terms of a several different aspects. Let us give an example of physical, emotional, spiritual, and a professional well-being that comes across it. Now, this is what I mean by self-concept. You must have heard of this proverb. They said, "I think, therefore I am." That is what self-concept is all about. It. You think, then that is why you are a person with a preset definitions of an ideas, ability, behavior, characteristic, personality, as the case might be. Let me take you to the concept of components of self, the views you have of yourself, your self-image, how much value you place on yourself. It is your self-esteem, it is your self-worth that we talk about you. What you wish you were really like to be. The ideal self. Remember, all of us would always have a better version of ourselves, and that better version is the ideal self that I would like to be. In fact, you would like yourself to be, but are we actually that ideal self? Probably no. So there is a difference between your actual self and the perceived self. So believe me, as a component of self, this is what we come across in when we want to impress a person. Probably when we are meeting a person for the first time, we want to present the perceived self. The perceived self is the ideal self. But mind you, that ideal self is not the real self or the actual self that we are all about it. That needs to be understood as a component of self. So, self management is an awareness lies the very core heart of the ability to master oneself. It is your self awareness. Developing self control and clarifying priorities and goals helps individual create direction in their own lives. This is what we talk about self management. Managing times and stress make it possible for individuals to adapt to organize surroundings, as the case might be. It is what we call about self management. That is exactly. Now we'll talk about the barriers to self management. Perception, stereotyping, tunnel visions, as the case might be. Emotion, fear of mistakes, unwilling to take risk, immediate solutions, premature judgment, culture, use of judgment, environment, organizational practices, lack of cooperation or trust, as the case might be. This is what we are looking for as the barriers of self management, be it perception, emotion, culture, and environment. So let me take you to the process of self-management. When you can understand yourself through your own self-awareness activities, when you can set a goal and if you can achieve that goals, well and good. But when you can set a goal but do not achieve that goal, again you will understand what is your capacity as in self-managing things. So preparing an action plans to achieve the goals, implement the activities, the assessment thereby, as the case might be. So basis of self-management is self-awareness. Remember, it lies at the heart of self-management, self-awareness. And how do we create self-awareness? It is all about self-analysis, reflection of the past event, critical incidents, and managing what? In from inside out. You do not manage outwards thing. You have to manage everything inside out. And that is what self-awareness is all about it. You are as good as what reaction you gave. Remember, it is not your action which speaks, it is your reaction which speaks volumes about your self-management and how aware are you of yourself. So let me give you and introduce a concept called Johari window. Johari window, if you want to say around it, how does it goes around it? Accordingly, it says it says there are paradigm that comes around it. Now, Johari window was developed by Joseph Luft. Joseph Luft, I remember, and Harry Ingham, and that is the reason why it comes around. From Joseph, you have taken Jo. Joseph, and from Harry Lingham, we have taken Harry, and it becomes a Joe Harry window, as the case might be. Way back in 1955, on the next axis, if you want to go around it itself, whether you are been plotting to know others, and that is what goes around it. On the y-axis, do you want to plot yourself? You can interchange those axes altogether. You will come with certain figures that comes around, which is known as open window, wherein things are known to you and to yourself and to others. But when there are things which is known to others but not known to self, it is somewhere that the blind spot. Probably you might have a finicky habit, the way you carry yourself, the way you walk, probably might be a blind spot. Then comes the unknown windows or the hidden windows, wherein it is known to self, but you deliberately don't disclose it in front of the public, and that is at a hidden strength. And the last, which is neither known to you not to self, probably things which you are not aware of it. You might eventually become a star personality. You might eventually become a top murderer in the society that's looking for. Nobody knows about it, and that's what the unknown window is all about it. So we would love to discuss those four quadrant one by one as an open self. The open area is that part of an individual conscious self, his or her attitude, behavior, motivation, values, the ways of life of which they are aware of which is known to others, as the case might be, and that is what is an open self is all about it. Let us talk about the blind self. There are things about people which they do not know, but then there are others that can see more clearly as a blind self. When others says what they see in a supportive and a responsible way, the people are able to hear it in the way that they are able to test the realities actually of what who they are, the blind self, where people are not aware of themselves, but probably the others, the public, the general supporters, and probably other colleagues, co-workers are aware of it. These are things that they should be clearly known. And if people tell it to you, you are being encircled by people who trust you, and probably you should cultivate their kind of friendships, the reality as to what you are. And then there's something called hidden self, this area where it's you yourself do not want to disclose it. The degree to which we say share ourselves with others, and the degree in which is to be known to others as thing. And believe me or not, everybody has a habit of hiding some portion of their personalities with the general public or the acquaintances of themselves. This is the last quadrant, is known as the unknown self. Unknown self are way more complex than what we can think of. Even others know us from time to time. Something might happen. It can be felt, it can be read, it can be heard, it can be dreamed. Something from our unconscious is revealed. Then we know what we have never known before, as the case might be. Did I say you might become a next superstar? Did I say you might become the nation's most wanted fugitive as such? It's an unknown self altogether, not known to anybody. So how do we increase self-awareness? The open window. This is the window that needs to be pushed around it. Can we make it bigger? Can we make it bigger? Can we engulf everything? And once it is open to everything, all great persons imbibe this personality. This is the most transparent self of others. So this is the way how can we can do it. Either you reduce your hidden area, disclose everything that you know about yourself, or you reduce the blind spot through feedback from others, as the case might be. So open at yourself. The significance of self-awareness to get better, because one should know how well he or she is doing, to take the right decision by knowing the blind spot, to do great work, learning by past mistakes and addressing them as the case might be. This is what significance of self awareness is all about it. Come, let us proceed and make ourselves an open self as much as possible. Time and priority management, process of organizing and planning, how to divide the time between different activities, between Prioritizing an activity, failing to managing time damages one's effectiveness and cause stress thereby. So this is very important for your time and priority management. Prioritize your work. Allocate the specific time for certain activities. If you are not able to follow the dictum that you have set for yourself, probably it is going to lead to be a loss in your effectiveness and a much stressed self, as the case might be. I will talk about APM. APM is action priority matrix in the next four subsequent slides that comes around it. It is all about prioritizing things. If you look what is going to go around it, we are talking about x-axis, it's been mentioned effort, and on the y-axis it has been mentioned impact, and that is what needs to be done altogether. This is which is very important, very pertinent and important for all of us to work around it. When the effort and impact is low, it is just fill in. You don't have to take much of a consideration, don't give a major importance out here. But when the effort is very hard but the impact is very low, it is very hard slogging. You toil hard day in day out, but probably the amount of money that you earn is not good enough. It's a hard slog. But what happens when the effort is lower but your winning and impact is very good and very impactful? So that is a quick wins. This is something which we all want to do around there. But in actuality, what happens? It is equal amount of effort will lead to equal amount of impact, and that is the major project. Major makes easier to make decisions, set out clearly which activities must be finished on time, which activities can be omitted or performed at a later point of time. APM continues on those four metrics that I said. I'll go through it. Let me tell it to you, the quick wins with a high impact and low on effort. These activities can be completed actually on a detailed fashion without much of an effort put in, because these are regular days activities. These we are doing continuously on a day in day out basis. These let us focus on quick win as much as possible. Now let us come to the APM, the action priority matrix, wherein major projects, which means a high impact and high effort. So I have to plow a lot of time, effort, and resources, and it is going to yield a definite equal amount or high amount of results. So gives a good return on the organization, but takes a long time to complete. Make sure that the major projects do not crowd out the quick wins. It is important to pay much attention to these major projects so that the execution of activities can be mastered. Working quickly and efficiently can be helpful in this, as the case might be. Let me tell it to you, the action priority matrix, wherein which is fill-ins, absolutely low things, low impact and low effort. Now these are low priority activities that can be dealt or at a later point of time, or you can deputize somebody to fill in those activities altogether on your behalf. It is often a stagnant activity with the higher priorities, so perform this type whenever you get a time, or I simply say delegate these activities to somebody else. Now, as far as hard slogs are concerned, in the APM or the action priority matrix, hard slogs are thankless, absolutely thankless tasks, low on impact but require immense effort. Avoid hard slogs, outsource them to an expert. If you do not do this, thankless and energy consumption tasks will yield low returns. There will be too little a time to do more of our important business that you will be losing around it. This is what we are looking for. The hard slog, as the case might be. So self-management through managing times, prioritizing the task, focus on the role. Please, I will always say focus on the role and the responsibility. Always ask yourself, what is more important? Things for me to do at this point of time. Analyze, adjust the schedule as required. Ask yourself, is your schedule is balanced between work, family, and yourself? You should give equal priorities to yourself, your work, and your family. Do not do not compromise work for family time or yourself. Do not compromise family time for work or yourself, and always have a high impetus for yourself, because at the end of the day, if you don't exist, probably who's going to take care of the work and the family time, as the case might be? So give impetus to yourself too, which is with an equal important. Consider if the action is what you want to see needs to be doing right now. If not, definitely say no. There is nothing wrong in saying no. Absolutely nothing wrong in saying no. Let us understand what do we mean by stressful situation and how do we deal with it. Remember, we are talking about self-management. And yes, things get stressful. Consider 4 points that needs to be decreasing stress. Nothing and no one can make you feel anything. It is up to you to feel anything. Nobody can insult you, nobody can mesmerize you until and unless you allow themselves to insult you or mesmerize you. Believe on my word. Similarly, no one can drive your car unless you give them your keys. It is very true. It is in you that your happiness lies. It is in you that is your stress lies. It is in you that the depression lies. If you want, if you cannot control your mind, if you cannot control your mind, believe me or not, the mind is going to control you, and that will not be in your disposition altogether. So you cannot control others' action, but you can be responsible. Can you be responsible for your reactions? Definitely. I said it's 1% of your action and 99% of the reaction, which forms your personality as the case might be. And I have also said that stressful situation can be handled very responsibly and very meaningfully. So we'll come to the next exchange gratitude or exchange gratitude always, no matter what the attitude is all about it. Life is 10% of what happens to us and 90% of how we react to it. As a person, always give importance to yourself. Me time, taking time to yourself for rejuvenation, relaxation. Take yoga, meditation, quiet time. Be yourself with yourself. Enjoy your things that you want to go around it. Look, the last one is look at the big picture. The bigger the picture, the better the clarity would be. Ask yourself how important is it. If the answer is no, it is not likely to worth your waste your time and energy on that thing. Absolutely, every time you ask this particular question as to how good, bad, ugly this is going to come across, then we talk about the self-management process. Remember to set goals. Remember to set performance objectives, challenge which is challenging enough, but at the same time should be attainable. You cannot expect to go set a goals or objective which is too far-fetched and beyond the ambit of your uh, let's say time, effort, quality, and probably your abilities thereby. So be realistic when you're with your challenging expectation. Develop an action plan, concrete, manageable steps. Make commitment. Remember to make commitment. Obstacles. Evaluate your own performances as the case might be. Assess the progress thereby every time now and then. And with this, we come to the very last slide for this presentation. What are the key takeaways that I've already said it to you? You should be open to experience existential living, trust feelings, creativity, and fulfill life as the case might be. This is what we are looking forward all together. Let us go for it. Be open to the experiences. Take life as it comes. Do not get bogged down. Existential living as to enjoy every moment, no matter what it is going through. If you think things are going not in your way, don't get stressed out here. Go through the emotion. That's a part of your living. Trust feelings, whatever you're going around it. Creativity, fulfill life as the case might be. Believe me or not, enjoy yourself, and I'm sure you're going to have a much more fruitful life and experiences to share in due process of time. Thank you for watching this video on self-management. With this, I come to an end of this presentation. Thank you nevertheless.